The fire overheat protection system provides fire or smoke indication in the cockpit and cabin and enables the crew to extinguish the fire. The system is made up of the fire and smoke detection subsystem and the fire extinguishing subsystem. Areas of the Embraer that are monitored or protected by the fire protection system include the engines and pylons, the APU, the 2 cargo compartments, the lavatories and lavatory waste bins. In addition, portable fire extinguishers are located in the cockpit and cabin. The engines and APU are monitored by a fire and overheat detection system. If a fire occurs in either the engine or APU compartment, it can be extinguished by the respective fire extinguishing system. The cargo compartments are monitored by a smoke detection system. They are equipped with a single fire extinguishing system for both compartments, which is built around 2 fire extinguishing bottles. The lavatories are equipped with a smoke detection system to alert the crew. In case of a fire in the lavatory waste bins, a fire extinguisher will automatically be discharged into the waste bin. To fight a fire on board, the crew can make use of the portable fire extinguishers installed in the cabin and cockpit areas. The following equipment is installed on the overhead panel in the cockpit for indication and extinguishing of a fire. The left and right engine fire handles indicate a fire when a red light in the handle illuminates. Pulling the handle will shut down the respective engine. The handles are also used to extinguish the fire by rotating them left or right. The APU can be shut down by the crew in the event of a fire using the emergency stop button on the APU control panel. The fire extinguisher control panel, located between the fire handles, allows the crew to extinguish a fire in the cargo compartments and in the APU. A test switch allows testing of the entire fire detection system. If a fire is detected, the respective warning messages will be displayed on the ICUS and aural warnings will sound. The detection subsystem provides means for detection of fire or overheat conditions in the engine-designated fire zone by the use of fire detectors. These fire detectors are connected to the MAUs to generate the related indications in the cockpit. The fire detectors are installed in dual-loop configuration, which means that each detector of Loop A will have a correspondent detector of Loop B protecting the same area. This configuration allows the aircraft to be dispatched with one loop inoperative. During normal operation, both loops must detect a fire to provide a fire alarm in the cockpit. However, with one loop inoperative, the alarm will also be enabled when the remaining operative loop detects fire. If both loops are failed, an ICUS message is displayed. In case of fire, the following indications are provided to the crew in the cockpit: the flashing master warning light, an aural warning in the cockpit, an Engine 1 fire or Engine 2 fire warning message on the ICUS, a fire inscription on the ITT icon, and a red light in the fire handle assigned to the engine where a fire was detected. The aural warning can be silenced by pushing the master warning button. The master warning light will then go off. However, the engine fire warning message and the red light in the fire handle will remain on until the fire is extinguished. The fire extinguisher panel in the cockpit allows the crew to manually test the fire detection system, fire illumination in the fire handles, warning messages, master warning push button, and the aural alarm. Pushing this test also tests the APU fire and the cargo smoke detection systems. Performing the test with APU running should not take more than 10 seconds. Otherwise, the APU will shut down.
The engine fire extinguishing system provides means to prevent fuel and hydraulic from flowing into the engine-designated fire zone, as well as a means for extinguishing fire in the engine-designated fire zone. Two fire extinguisher bottles, A and B, are installed in the right-hand rear wing-to-fuselage fairing. This permits a dual shot function for one engine through the discharge tubing and nozzles. Firing of the bottles can only be controlled by cockpit command through the fire handles.
The fire extinguishing agent is driven from the bottle to the engine fire zone by aluminum stainless steel distribution pipes. The aluminum pipe is connected from the fire extinguisher bottle to the forward pylon. Both fire extinguishing bottles are cross-connected, providing two shots for the same engine. Each shot, controlled by command from the cockpit, will discharge the fire extinguisher agent inside the requested engine 1 or 2 fire zone.
If a fire warning illuminates for engine 1, the related fire handle will illuminate in red. By pulling down this fire handle, the related engine fuel and hydraulic fluid flow will be stopped by closing the shutoff valves. The bleed air of the related engine will also be closed. By rotating the fire handle counterclockwise to extinguisher A, the explosive cartridge for engine 1 on bottle A will detonate, and the fire extinguishing agent will be discharged into engine 1 core compartment. After the fire extinguishing bottle is discharged, an engine FireX bottle A discharge message will appear on the ICUS. If the engine 1 fire warning stays on, bottle B can also be used for this engine. The APU fire detection subsystem uses two pneumatic fire detectors to detect a fire or overheat condition in the APU compartment. The fire detectors are similar to the engine fire detector in design and function. The fire detectors are connected to MAU 1 and 3, which supply indications to the ICUS and CMC.
The APU fire detection system receives electrical power from the essential DC buses via the MAUs. There are two loops with one detector each, protecting the same area. If both loops detect a fire condition during normal operation, the MAUs will generate an APU fire warning message in the cockpit, and the red striped bar of the APU emergency stop button will be illuminated. When pressed, this button will shut down the APU immediately. The red illumination will turn off, illuminating the white striped bar of this button, and the APU fire extinguisher button will illuminate. If, in the event of fire, 1 minute has passed without the MAU receiving a positive indication that the APU emergency stop button was pressed, the APU fire extinguish button will illuminate. If there is an APU fire on ground, the APU will shut down automatically after 10 seconds, if there is no commanded shutdown through the APU emergency stop switch. The fire detectors will be continuously monitored. When both loops are failed, an APU Fire Detection Fail message will be displayed on the ICUS. In case of a fire detector loop failure, the fire alarm will be provided in the cockpit when the operative loop detects fire. A test button on the fire control panel is used to manually test the APU fire detection system. When pressed, the following will occur: illumination of APU emergency stop and APU fire extinguishing buttons, the master warning push buttons, APU fire CAS message, and aural fire warning. This test button will also test the main engine fire detection system and the cargo smoke detection system. Performing the test with APU running should not take more than 10 seconds. Otherwise, the APU will shut down. The APU fire extinguishing subsystem is used to discharge one fire extinguishing bottle, which is installed in the rear fuselage, into the APU fire compartment. The fire extinguishing bottle discharge is controlled by command from the cockpit. The fire extinguishing bottle pressure, power supply, cartridge integrity, and related harnesses are continuously monitored. In case of a failure, a message will illuminate on the ICUS and on the CMC. When the guarded APU emergency stop button is pressed, the APU fuel shutoff valve will be commanded to close and the APU will shut down. Shutoff valve position is displayed on the ICUS. After the APU emergency stop button has been released, the APU shutoff valve can be reopened by rotating the APU master switch to the on position. In the event of an APU fire, by pressing the APU emergency stop button, the APU will stop and the fuel shutoff valve will close. To discharge the fire extinguishing agent into the APU fire zone, the APU fire extinguishing button should be pressed. By pressing the APU fire extinguishing button, the APU will shut down and the APU fuel shutoff valve will close when the APU emergency stop button has not been pressed before. The cargo compartment smoke detection subsystem is designed to detect smoke in the cargo compartment and turn off the ventilation in the forward cargo compartment. The system includes a group of ceiling-mounted photoelectric fan-type smoke detectors that are installed in recessed trays within the ceiling of the cargo compartments. Signals from the smoke detectors are routed to the flight deck via the MAUs, which process the necessary system information for the operating crew. In the rear cargo compartment, smoke must be detected by two independent smoke detector channels for an alarm to be reported to the flight deck. Indications include an audible alarm, master warning lights flashing, the aft cargo compartment fire extinguishing button illuminating, and cargo aft smoke and cargo Firex high armed messages on the ICUS. The forward cargo compartment smoke detection system has a different configuration. As optional, it is equipped with an air circulation fan and cargo compartment shutoff valve. If only a single detector goes into alarm, fan operation is terminated and the cargo compartment shutoff valve is closed. The shutdown sequence starts in the forward cargo compartment without any cockpit annunciation activated. The air circulation fan is shut down for 60 seconds, and the remaining smoke detectors are monitored for 45 seconds in alarm condition. Successful completion of the built-in test and absence of an alarm condition will result in the alarm being treated as a fault. Only if another detector goes into alarm within the 45 seconds is a cargo forward smoke enunciated in the cockpit. The smoke detectors are continuously monitored by built-in test. If only one smoke detector is available in one compartment, the MAU will automatically report a cargo forward aft smoke when one smoke detector reports a fire alarm. When the aircraft is on ground and a faulty smoke detector is realized, a cargo fire protection fault will be indicated on the ICUS. In the event that all smoke detectors in one cargo compartment have failed, a cargo forward aft fire system fail message will illuminate on the ICUS. The cargo compartment smoke detection system can be manually tested through a system test button located on the overhead panel. This test will verify that the smoke detectors and that the flight deck interface components are functioning. Additionally, this test will verify that the fire extinguisher cartridges are not faulty. When the switch is pressed, the master warning lights will flash, and the aural warning will sound. The cargo forward aft smoke message will illuminate. The cargo extinguisher lights will be activated. The forward cargo compartment fan will stop, and the vent valve will close. In case the ventilation fan will not stop, cargo forward vent fail caution will illuminate. The cargo compartment fire suppression subsystem supplies fire extinguishing agent to the cargo compartment to extinguish a fire. Fire extinguishing agent will also be supplied for up to 60 minutes to prevent a fire from reigniting. 2 fire extinguisher bottles are installed in the center E-bay. One high-rate discharge bottle is filled with 5.91 kilograms, 13 pounds, Halon 1301, and one low-rate discharge bottle is filled with 9.98 kilograms, 22 pounds, Halon 1301. They are equipped with dual outlets to discharge suppression agent into either of the cargo compartments. The high-rate gas flow is designed to extinguish the fire by filling the cargo compartment with the required concentration of Halon 1301, while the low-rate gas flow afterwards prevents reignition. Discharge is initiated by cockpit command. If a cargo fire occurs, the cargo smoke warning will be displayed in the cockpit and the appropriate cargo compartment fire extinguisher button will illuminate. This automatically arms the high-rate bottle. By pressing the illuminated extinguisher button, the high-rate bottle will discharge into the related cargo compartment and the low-rate bottle will be armed. After 1 minute, the low-rate bottle will automatically discharge and distribute its agent via the dryer metering unit into the cargo compartment. The low-rate bottle can be discharged manually before the 1 minute has expired by pressing the extinguisher button again. The light in the button will go off after the low-rate bottle has been discharged. Note that the cargo smoke indication will stay on as long as the fire situation exists. The fire extinguishing system can be used even without a cargo smoke warning. The high-rate bottle is armed by pushing a cargo fire extinguisher button and is indicated by the red button light and ICUS message. If the button is pushed again within the next 2 minutes, the high-rate bottle will be discharged. Depending on whether or not the aircraft is weight on wheels, The sequence for the low-rate bottle is automatic in flight or manual on ground. In flight, the second bottle will fire automatically after 1 minute. On ground, the button has to be pushed twice to arm and to fire the low-rate bottle. If the button is not pressed a second time within 2 minutes after arming, the system will reset. When the fire test button is pressed, the system will reset.
Now you can try the different options of discharging the Fire-X bottles into the cargo compartments. You can select fire in the forward or aft cargo compartment, the aircraft in flight or on ground, and reset the system for a new trial by selecting the appropriate switches. You can also press the related cockpit control buttons.
The lavatory smoke detection system detects smoke in the lavatories and warns the crew. The system consists of smoke detectors mounted on the forward and aft lavatory ceiling panels and lavatory smoke test switches on the forward and aft flight attendant panel. The lavatory smoke detection system is provided with the following indications: CAS messages, aural indication through a smoke detector built-in chime, visual indication through the red alarm indicator light and the forward and aft attendant light indicator panels.
When smoke is detected in any lavatory, the following sequence is initiated. An alarm will sound inside the lavatory where smoke has been detected. The chime is mounted into the lavatory smoke detector assembly and is audible from anywhere in the cabin. Additionally, the red alarm indicator will illuminate. The flashing amber light on the attendant light indicator panel will be activated, giving the cabin crew visual indication of the detection of smoke from anywhere in the passenger compartment, and a CAS warning message, "Lav smoke," in conjunction with the master warning indication, will illuminate in the cockpit. System operation can be confirmed electrically by a self-test circuit, by pushing the built-in self-test switches on the forward flight attendant panel. When built-in test is initiated from the forward flight attendant panel, by pressing and holding the test switch for a particular lavatory, the smoke detectors, cabin crew, and flight crew indications are tested. After the test switch is released, the CAS message and the master warning indication are held for 7 seconds.
If fire occurs inside the waste disposal, the auto-discharge fire extinguishing bottle will be automatically discharged. The tip at the end of each discharge tube will melt at a predetermined temperature, causing the bottle to fully discharge into the waste compartment and knock down the fire in the waste disposal. Discharge indication can be seen on this pressure gauge. To fight a fire on board, the crew can make use of the portable fire extinguishers installed in the cabin and cockpit areas. Each fire extinguisher contains a blended halon 1211-1301 with low toxicity characteristics. One fire extinguisher is located on the left-hand side of the cockpit bulkhead, behind the pilot seat, and there are fire extinguishers located in each galley area. The standard configuration will be equipped with 2.5 pounds halon.
Landing gear bay fire detection system. The optional landing gear bay fire detection system provides main landing gear overheat or fire annunciation to the flight crew. Each main landing gear bay has an independent dual-loop pneumatic sensor installed. If overheating or fire is detected by both loops of the same landing gear bay, the system provides the following indications. The aural warning sounds. The master warning lights flash. The landing gear bay fire warning displays on the ICAS. For both cases, if the landing gear is cooled down to preset values, the system provides normal indications to the flight crew.